All right, guys, welcome back to another video, and this is really going to be my experience over the last couple of days with this OnePlus Open. So I guess I'll start out with some of the cons of this device that I've kind of experienced over the last several hours. One of which is, and I mentioned in my other video, the choice to go with this huge camera bump. It makes this phone really top heavy. So when you're holding it in this closed factor here, form factor, it does, the weight distribution to me is not that great. I thought using the case with it maybe would offset that a little bit, but it really doesn't help. This thing is a little top heavy. So I don't really care for this camera bump, which leads me into the picture quality. I'm not a photographer. I always have to throw that out there. Disclaimer, I did take some photos with it. I wasn't blown away, especially for the size of this camera. I know other people have a different experience and they swear by the camera and low light and all that good stuff. Me, not so much. The pictures weren't horrible, but they definitely weren't great. Nothing to brag about. Maybe they can take a page from Google and get some post-processing and whatnot to make it a little better. The next thing is the RAM management. I talked about that. I did go through the settings and try to select, particular games to stay within that management, and it still did not help. So as you guys know, I use DH5 and NBA 2K20 to test out the performance and whatnot. Pretty good performance. It's just that after a minute or two, if you try to go back to the game that you had running, it's going to automatically restart the game, which is pretty annoying. So I know that's something that can probably be fixed with software, maybe an update here and there. I don't know how often they're going to update this device. I did give one software update since having this. When I did my initial setup, there was one update. Haven't seen one since, so not sure how often it'll be updated, but they definitely need to do one for the RAM management. I also noticed, and it's weird because certain websites render very quickly and beautifully, like this here. I'm at GizTop right now, and while I'm here, I might as well mention this is another con, is the fact that they didn't really promote. And we're looking at the Oppo Find N3, which is basically this device. But as you can see here, there's an Oppo pen, and they've already rebranded it for the Find N3. So it should work with this device. It's just something that's not promoted from OnePlus. But here we have it for 129 bucks. So if you guys are looking to pick up that device, you can definitely get it through GizTop. $130, a little steep. That's kind of more than what Samsung is asking for their S Pen. So a little outside the price range, but if you do have to have that pen input, it should work. That's the key words there, should work. I haven't tested it out, so I don't know for sure. But getting back to what I was getting ready to say is some websites don't render properly. So when I go to Best Buy, for example, and this is one that I found that it just takes it a little longer than normal to get all the pictures and links and things down. It's doing a little better job today. But the last couple of days, and I go to the Best Buy website a lot, I did notice a lot of delay when trying to get the images and things to pop up. So I've tried it on several other devices, really never had that issue. I've had issues with other websites like Wanda Mobile having a delay. I wonder if it's going to do it on this device. Let's see. Yeah, there's just like a little delay there before Wanda Mobile site pops up, but then once it gets going, it's pretty good. So nothing unusual there. But I did notice just with a couple different sites, it was a little more sluggish than what it just did. So maybe it's kind of working out the kinks itself. I don't know, who knows? You got to break it in a little bit, I guess. What else? No wireless charging. I mentioned that in the other video. So that is a huge miss because the technology is there. They're more than capable. They have wireless products that they've sold over the years. So not sure why they didn't include it on this device. Man, MagSafe has been the way to go for a lot of people, for a lot of their devices, and not having an option to have wireless is huge missed opportunity by OnePlus. Maybe they'll include it on the next version of this phone. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I guess the good news is that this thing did sell out on Best Buy's website. So they are having success, which is good for both OnePlus and for Samsung, in my opinion, because that means more people are adopting folding phones, which I have said it is time. It's really time to pick one up and give it a shot. Now, let's talk about all the really good things about this device. So I mentioned this before, the aspect ratio, I think they nailed it. The outer display is definitely very usable. I don't find myself fiending to open this thing up just from using the outer display. So I know on my Samsung devices, all my Z Folds, usually if I'm fooling around on that outer display, I just open the thing up because it just gets annoying because of how narrow it is. Unless it's a quick task, and obviously that works out fine. But this outer display is almost perfect. Colors and everything pop. And I think the LTPO 3, I believe the version is working out really well on this device. So great aspect ratio inside and outside. Really good speaker quality. So the speakers have been pretty impressive. Definitely no complaints there. I guess there's like 3 speakers for some odd reason. I don't know why, but one of these ports, I guess like these speaker grills, doesn't really give you the sound output. So, but either way, the speakers are pretty good. Very snappy performance. Like I said, I've only run into a couple of issues on websites loading all the content and images. But outside of that, this thing has been a great performer. Getting in and out of tasks and apps have been a breeze. I did my gaming test with this device and it passed very easily, except for the RAM management. But the really good thing about this device, and I can't say it enough, well, it's 2 things actually. The battery life has been absolutely incredible. This is the best battery life I have experienced on a foldable device to date. So even the standby time, very impressive. I found that it only drained about 3 to 4%, leaving it overnight without putting it on the charger. And just standby time has been phenomenal on this device. Even while using the device, I just see a sipping battery. So I know everybody's use case is going to be different, but my experience has been really good battery life. Very, very excellent multitasking. So they kind of rethought how to do multitasking with the open spaces, how they refer to it. And I did try it out in a few different situations, but I guess I can kind of show you guys the capabilities. So we'll just say you are on Instagram and you're following me, which you should do. You're just taking a look at some of these images and you say, oh yeah, this is pretty cool, but let's split this screen down the middle. And then you could select from different apps within your app drawer or whatever you have here on your home screen. So let's see, what can we look at? Let's just, we'll go back to Chrome. So we'll open up Chrome. Now we have our Chrome on the right, we have our Instagram on the left, but we also have the ability to bring in a third app. Let me see if it's gonna show me my, oh, there we go. So I guess you gotta hold it to get it to pop back up. You just gotta hold it in that particular area. All right, so now we got our taskbar at the bottom there. So we will go and we will add ESPN. And let's just say you guys want to check out some YouTube videos. So let's go, let's find our YouTube app. And you can click it, bring it out, and it kind of gives you this option here to place it at the bottom. So now we've got YouTube at the bottom. I can kind of click to go to the top right app, click over here to go to the left app, or you can pinch and have them all really small, and you can kind of interact with them as you see fit. So it is a way to rethink. It takes a little getting used to, as you guys saw I struggled there a little bit because I'm not too familiar with using all three apps. Not sure how many different situations you would use three apps at the same time that way. I did test it out using the Messages app, the Facebook Messenger app, and YouTube. So that was a case where I was texting with people on two different platforms while watching a YouTube video. So that could be a use case, but you guys let me know what you would possibly use it for. But all that to say, the multitasking, I do like it. Takes a little getting used to. I'm so used to Samsung devices, but I like how they implemented it. Now, the next thing that I really like about this device, and it came as a package deal, these OnePlus Buds, I can't rave enough about. These things sound phenomenal. So whether you're using the active noise cancellation, the transparency, or just having the cancellation off, all three stages work flawlessly with this device. So I was able to watch some content and just get immersed in this device. So shout out to OnePlus for including the Buds on this package. Incredible package deal. You guys, if you did take advantage and ordered this thing early and got the Buds with it, I want to know your opinion. But the last thing that I'll really talk about is the lack of a crease. So this device is the best foldable to date that almost has a creaseless design. It is very hard to find. You could probably put an all white background and maybe it'll stand out a little bit, but it really does not get in the way at all. You can barely feel it. It is just super impressive what they've done with the hinge and minimizing the crease. So I have to give props to OnePlus. They are the best to do it so far for the crease. As far as the overall aspect ratio, this device, for their first attempt, aka third attempt, like we talked about, because Oppo, they're pretty much the same company, but they really did a great job. So they're really putting the pressure on Samsung to bring forth something new and innovative for the Z Fold 6, hopefully. But I think I'm even more excited about what the next OnePlus Open is going to be like. So I'm hoping that they take advantage and bring forth the OnePlus Pen, right? Instead of the Oppo Pen, they can have the OnePlus Pen. I'm sure that'll win over a lot of people that were holding on to the Z Fold, especially with this screen aspect ratio. If they just add wireless charging, give us the Pen, and kind of reduce this huge camera hump here, because I think that really adds a lot of the weight. This device is pretty light, but most of the weight just comes from this camera, and I think it's unnecessary, especially for the quality or lack thereof that it puts out, in my opinion, all right, in my experience. So you guys let me know what you think. The OnePlus Open, is it a contender? Well, I guess your sales, or your purchases, I should say, have spoken volumes, because like I said, Best Buy is sold out. I think OnePlus, you got to wait a few weeks to get your hands on one now if you didn't pre-order. But those are good signs. So let's go with the folding phones. And to the next one.